Chapter 1876, Western Desert Situation. 1876 Western Desert S situation. Fang Yuan secretly transmitted. 1,000 transformations ancestor, stop chasing me. I can find a way out of this. I will bring you out, and you give me mutation immortal goo as the reward. How about that? 1,000 transformations ancestor laughed coldly. He replied, Humph, wishful thinking. If you open the way out and return the immortal goo, we will spare your life. After his rage subsided, he thought of Fang Yuan's action of stealing the goo. It meant that he had nothing to fear. His intense anger earlier was real, but afterwards, it was mostly just acting. The myriad Li adaptation formation was broken. If 1,000 transformations ancestor wanted to leave this place, the best choice was to borrow Fang Yuan's strength. Even if he could not, he definitely could not let Fang Yuan escape. If Fang Yuan really escaped, he would be left to deal with Heavenly Court. In the end, he would be overexerted. Even if he escapes, this devious demon would ambush and attack him. 1,000. Transformations ancestor had good foresight. His vision was not limited to just this battle. Thus, he chased Fang Yuan relentlessly, following him closely. As for Myriad Statue Palace, even if he left it inside overturning heaven and earth, it would only be temporary. As long as he escapes, he would be able to attack the 4 immortal goo houses outside the killer move. The 4 immortal goo houses maintained overturning heaven and earth. That was the biggest weakness of this move. Once they were dealt with or disrupted, Heavenly Court's battlefield that was painstakingly created would have severe loopholes. They would not be able to maintain at once. The 3 parties of Fang Yuan, 1,000 transformations ancestor, and Heavenly Court chased and escaped. They had many methods that created grand commotions. Heaven and earth shook. Secretly, they were engaging in psychological warfare. They schemed and plotted against each other. After a long deadlock, the 3 Heavenly Court immortals' expressions changed. From outside the battlefield, a large number of people charged in. There were many goo immortals, including rank 8. They had 4 immortal goo houses. The palace at the lead was lofty like a mountain. Liveliness mixed in its solemnity. Its green bricks and golden tiles emitted dense fragrance of plants and trees. What else could it be but Divine Being Palace? The one controlling Divine Being Palace was Fang clan's second supreme elder, Fang Dichong. Beside him, there was Fang Gong, Fang Huasheng, and the rest. Immortal Killer Move, Myriad Life Spring Lightning. Fang Dichong did not speak. He directly manipulated Divine Being Palace and shot out countless lightning balls. The jade-green lightning balls landed on Heavenly Court's 4 immortal goo houses. They shook intensely from the explosions. A large number of vines grew out and infiltrated the goo houses. Heavenly Court immediately went into chaos. Divine Being Palace. Seeing that Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's creation was used against them, Heavenly Court's goo immortals had bloodshot eyes. They belonged to Western Desert's righteous path. Why are they here? Western Desert's righteous path did not come together. Only Fang clan, Tian clan, Dong clan, Shi clan, and Tang clan are here. Heavenly Court's goo immortals immediately realized who had arrived. After Fang Dichong refined Divine Being Palace, Fang clan's difficulties were resolved. Fang clan's rise was already unstoppable. As long as they showed Divine Being Palace, Western Desert's righteous path would understand reality and change their stance. Fang Dichong used this chance to secretly contact Western Desert's righteous path, to cooperate with his main body. He had to act quickly while keeping it a secret. Eventually, he only gathered 4 super clans, Tian clan, Dong clan, Shi clan, and Tang clan. This level of strength was already enough to change the situation. Heavenly Court was caught by surprise. Their arrangements were strong on the inside, but weak on the outside. Divine Being Palace displayed terrifying might. Heavenly Court's 4 immortal goo houses were shaking intensely. They were greatly disadvantaged. The killer move overturning heaven and earth was also severely disrupted. It could not be sustained perfectly. To think it was so convenient. Fang Yuan laughed loudly as he escaped outside using the exposed route. Where are you going? 1,000 transformations ancestor chased him relentlessly. Fang Yuan turned around as he sneered. You really think I'm afraid of you? Myriad-year flying warships suddenly turned around as daybreak's sword shot out like a torrent. Thousand transformations ancestor shouted in anger, but he could not defend against the full power of this rank 8 immortal goo house. He was forced back into overturning heaven and earth. He was trapped again. I'm leaving. Fang Yuan laughed heartily as myriad-year flying warship tore through the air, vanishing rapidly. Western Desert's righteous path went into a commotion. Some wanted to stop Fang Yuan, but Fang Dichang stopped them in a justified tone. Let Fang Yuan go. He is the enemy of Heavenly Court. It will be helpful to us in the future. Fang Dichang led the allied forces to fight against Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court was in an awkward state now. There was thousand transformations ancestor inside and Western Desert's righteous path outside. Xing Yiwang shouted in anger. Western Desert's immortals, you are the shame of the righteous path. You are publicly helping demonic path goo immortals. Fang Dichang sneered and replied. The great Heavenly Court is far more shameless than us. You were the ones who took in that Western Desert demoness Wanzihong yourselves, but you want to accuse us instead. Xing Yiwang was stupefied and speechless. Prince Feng Xian had a cold tone. Are you really going to stand at odds against us, Heavenly Court, today? Fang Dichang replied. Not long ago, our Fang clan got into a dangerous situation. Your Heavenly Court were the ones who added fuel to the fire. You have great ambitions. Do you really think Western Desert has no intelligent or outstanding people? When the regional walls vanish and the 5 regions become one, will Western Desert let you treat us as meat on the chopping block? Prince Feng Xian snorted coldly. He stopped speaking. To think that Western Desert would have such an interesting junior. Wan Zihong's face regained a bit of color as she looked towards Divine Bean Palace with interest. She said, we will retreat. There was no helping it. Retreating was the best option. Heavenly Court retreated with composure and order. They were not anxious. No need to chase them. Fang Dichang said. This made all of the goo immortals let out sighs of relief. After all, they did not want to fight with Heavenly Court to the end. If their losses were huge, the other Western Desert superforces would benefit. Only 1,000 transformations ancestor and Western Desert's righteous path were left. The door of Divine Bean Palace opened as Fang Dichang stepped outside, smiling. 1,000 transformations ancestor. We have a common enemy. Not long after, the 5 regions will merge. The goo immortal world will face an unprecedented great era. We are willing to join forces with you and resist the enemy. What do you think about that? This person can see the big picture. 1,000 transformations ancestor's eyes shined. He nodded as he remembered Fang Dichang's words in his heart. I will look for you. Good. With your help, Heavenly Court will definitely have an even tougher time. Fang Dichang clapped and he laughed loudly. Let's go. He ordered as Western Desert's righteous path allied forces left together. They came quickly and left just as quickly. But the Western Desert goo immortals had extremely excited faces because they defeated Heavenly Court. This was Heavenly Court. Only Fang Gong had a look of worried. He looked at the confident Fang Dichang beside him leading the army as he, the first Supreme Elder, became an accompaniment. He felt immense pressure. But so what? Fang Dichang and I merely have internal conflict. Fang clan's rise to become the leader of Western Desert's righteous path and defeating Heavenly Court is an external matter. How can I focus on internal conflict and cause harm to Fang clan? Even if my authority is taken in the future, our Fang clan will still be the Fang clan of Fang clansmen. Fang Dichang knew that even though they had no physical gains in this battle, Fang clan's rise was already undeniable. Fang Dichang obtained the greatest political wealth in his entire life. The clans who came were originally disunited. They were only joined together forcefully. But after this battle, the glory turned into cohesiveness as these 5 clans started to unite. As for Fang clan, it was the leader of this group that sought benefits. Fang clan's Fang Dichang. He is truly a formidable person. 1,000 transformations ancestor watched Western Desert's righteous path leave as he sighed to himself. Myriad statue palace returned to him. Without making a sound, 1,000 transformations ancestor looked at the directions where Fang Yuan and Heavenly Court escaped. He gritted his teeth. Fang Yuan, Heavenly Court, just you wait. Chapter 1877, Li Xiaobei's promotion. 1877 Li Xiao, by S. promotion Fang Yuan looked at the mutation immortal goo in his hands. This immortal goo had a peculiar shape. It had the body of a longhorn beetle. It had 8 spider-like legs. It had a rhinoceros beetle horn on its head. It had cicada wings and 2 mantis arms. Its tail shined brightly like a firefly, but the light was a rainbow color. Mutation immortal goo was the possession of 1,000 transformations ancestor, but this was not a problem for Fang Yuan. After Fang Yuan left the battlefield, he refined this rank 8 immortal goo during the time he traveled. There was no need to mention 1,000 transformations ancestor's anger after sensing this. Fang Yuan tried several times and found out the effects of mutation immortal goo. This was an offensive. Immortal goo. It had great power. It could mutate a portion of the enemy's body. It dominated rank 7s and could give huge problems to immemorial desolate beasts. It could also be used on oneself to add transformations to one's transformations. For example, if Fang Yuan turns into a tiger, after using mutation immortal goo, he could gain 2 wings on his tiger body. He might get a 3rd eye on his tiger head. He might even grow a scorpion stinger at the end of his tail. Of course, these were positive mutations. There could also be detrimental mutations. For example, the tiger's stomach might grow an elephant leg that is much longer than the tiger's entire body. The tiger's back might gain a butthole. It would be an obvious weakness that the enemy would target. Using mutation immortal goo alone would have mixed effects. It was risky. Because this immortal goo was rank 8, it would trigger rank 8 level mutations. There would be huge effects on the body. Thus, to play safe, he had to use other supplementary goo worms with mutation immortal goo to form killer moves. Using these moves to amplify oneself was the least risky way, other than attacking enemies. With mutation immortal goo, it could also be used to manage the immortal aperture. Using it as the core to display a killer move or immortal formation, it would cause more mutations to the life forms within the immortal aperture. Ordinary beasts would gradually grow into mutated beasts. Of course, these mutated beasts could also be crippled, but due to natural selection, they would slowly phase out of existence. As for those powerful mutated beasts, they would survive and reproduce, creating a brand new species. Normally, these mutated life forms would develop into the specialty resource of a certain immortal aperture. They would not exist elsewhere. If they were well received in the market, this would become the goo immortal's long-term income source. They would gain a huge profit from this over time. Mutation immortal goo has such a comprehensive effect. It should be one of the core immortal goo of reckless savages' true inheritance. No wonder 1,000 transformations ancestor became so nervous after losing it. Fang Yuan thought. Other than mutation immortal goo, Fang Yuan also gained several other immortal goo. Most were transformation path immortal goo. There was also a rank 7 rule path immortal goo. Pass. This was an insect that seemed like a flightless cockroach. It had the size of a fetus fist. It was flat and shining in a metallic color, giving off a feeling of toughness. Back then, when Night Temptress and immortal concubine Qinglan first set in immortal formation, it was the core of it. Feng Jiao. Goo was hidden nearby. He saw this immortal goo and wanted to obtain it. This immortal goo had great value to him. Think that in the end, this immortal goo would end up with Fang Yuan. Just these immortal goo and 1,000 transformations ancestors' methods show how powerful reckless savages' true inheritance is. It is a pity I can't act rashly. 1,000 transformations ancestor had only gone through 1 myriad tribulation. His Tao marks could not compare to Fang Yuan. But he had many methods and was a person with great endurance and acting skills. Wei Feng was done in by him. This was unless Fang Yuan could lure him into a battlefield killer move. 1,000 transformations ancestor still had myriad statue palace guarding him. This rank 8 immortal goo house had shocking strength. It could transform into 1,000 transformations ancestor at crucial moments to deceive enemies. It was quite an obstacle. It was not easy to scheme against him. Looking at Heavenly Court, they planned for so long and used overturning heaven and earth killer move. They mobilized 4 rank 8s, but ended up with no gains. And most crucially, Fang Yuan could not display his true battle strength. A little impatience will spoil great plans. If the secret that he had become rank 8 gets exposed, the detriment would be huge. Thus, when dealing with the 3 crazed demon eccentrics, he was very careful. Fang Yuan was looking at the big picture. The Central Continent Refinement Path Convention is approaching. Northern Plains Gu Immortal World has Longevity Heaven. Southern Border has the ambitious Wu Yong. Eastern Sea is led by my Qi Si ancestor identity. Western Desert has Fang Clan and Tang Clan that I can make use of. I can already see the situation of 4 regions attacking Central Continent. This was something Fang Yuan had been planning since rebirth. Finally, at this moment, he could see some results from his work. Fang Yuan was no longer just a single rank 8 Gu Immortal. He had outstanding subordinates. He had many talented people under him. He was also not just a normal super force. He plotted against the world, using everyone as his pawns to get rid of his biggest obstacle. Heavenly Court.Heavens will made use of him. Spectral Soul made use of him. Red Lotus Demon Venerable made use of him. Chu Du made use of him. Langya Land Spirit made use of him. But now, he was finally one of the chess players. Profound Literature, Grotto Heaven. Did I see wrongly? Why is my student's name on the list of the 10 great scholars? Teacher Zheng looked at this information. He felt deeply shocked. He was stunned. Teacher, are you inside? Your student Li Xiaobai would like to see you. At this moment, Li Xiaobai's voice resounded from outside the door. Teacher Zheng quickly opened the door. Come in. Tell me, what is going on? Li Xiaobai went through deep consideration and made up his mind. He told everything that had happened that night to Teacher Zheng. He was very troubled. Teacher, you need to help me. Teacher Zheng heard this as he looked at Li Xiaobai blankly. His expression turned weird. He shook his head in a seemingly smiling expression. Oh, you. I have no idea what to say about this. In Teacher Zheng's perspective, Li Xiaobai had no hope of becoming one of the 10 great scholars. But when luck came approaching, it could not be stopped. His great luck made even Teacher Zheng feel a bit of envy and jealousy in his heart. After the matter, Lady Su Chi Han tested me before informing me that I will become one of the 10 great scholars. I received your guidance and did not dare to be arrogant. I quickly rejected her, but Lady Su Chi Han made up her mind already. I was helpless against her. After all, the weak cannot contend with the strong. Li Xiaobai expressed his sadness. Your encounter would make everyone jealous. You want to reject it? Teacher Zheng smiled. Teacher, stop making fun of me. I came here to ask you to save my life. I do not have enough talent. Becoming one of the 10 great scholars would simply push me into the pit of doom. Li Xiaobai cupped his fists and said. Teacher Zheng stopped smiling. He nodded. Yes, you are neither arrogant nor prideful. You can see reality. Clearly, I did not waste my time teaching you. But you are overthinking this. Before becoming one of the 10 great scholars, if you try to compete for a spot, you will face great danger. But now that you are already one of them, the Imperial Court will defend you. Whoever tries to harm you will also be attacking the reputation of the Imperial Court. Do you understand this? Li Xiaobai shook his head, but I still feel very worried. Compared to the other 9, I am less renowned. People might come after me. Also, after that matter happened, Lady Su Chi Han is also being extremely strict towards me. Teacher Zheng nodded again. Even though I am here, I have heard of this junior Su Chi Han. She has immense talent and a prideful nature. Since she wants to take responsibility for you, I am sure she wants to marry you. I mean, she wants you to marry into Su clan. She is one of the most famous female scholars. Her husband has to match her talent. But she will not act blindly. She wants to test you first. After seeing that you have some talent, she nominated you. In the future, she will pave the way for you and help you to advance even further. Saying so, Teacher Zheng looked at Li Xiaobai with a complex expression. He was also one of the 10 great scholars in the past. He was proud of his talent and looked down on everyone. But reality was cruel. There was only one road of advancement. Countless people wanted to fight for it. He could not compete against them. After a long time, even though his reputation spread widely, he was only famous outside of the Imperial Court. To think that his student who had inferior talent, background, and network would succeed due to immensely good luck. For an absurd reason, he became Su Chi Han's man and was greatly supported by her. Forget about Su Chi Han herself, but she was backed by Su clan. Her father was the court's chancellor Su. Li Xiaobai gained a huge background all of a sudden. To speak the truth, I was quite happy initially, but recently, I felt something amiss. I am getting more fearful. Lady Su Chi Han has so many admirers. This matter cannot be known to anyone else. All of these young talented geniuses will hate me for becoming Lady Su's lover. Especially after the selection of the 10 great scholars, I will need to enter the court and meet the emperor along the way to the imperial city. What should I do? I am helpless now. I need your help, teacher. Li Xiaobai sighed deeply. Teacher Jiang was a little unhappy. He grunted lightly. Xiaobai, don't look down on yourself. You have enough talent. Do you think my teaching was a waste? As my student, when others target you, they need to consider my reputation as well. How about this? I will write a few recommendation letters for you. Go visit them, and they will provide you some help along the way. Saying so, he paused a bit as Teacher Jiang made up his mind. You can stay here for a few days. I will impart some of my methods to you. Li Xiaobai was overjoyed. He quickly bowed deeply. This student thanks teacher. Su Qihan wanted him to keep this a secret, but Li Xiaobai did not really care about that. After the time was right, he immediately told the secret to Teacher Jiang. He seemed to be asking for help, but he was actually displaying his own value. Teacher Jiang was excluded from the imperial court. He could not enter the core, seeing that his student had a high chance of getting in. If his student becomes famous in the future, would he forget this valuable teacher? Impossible. Teacher Jiang was extremely familiar with Li Xiaobai's nature. He was not an ungrateful person. Even if he wants to disregard him in the future, he would be subject to public opinion. He would not dare to ignore this benefactor and teacher. The higher Li Xiaobai's status, the more he would treasure his reputation, and the more he would repay this teacher. Thinking of this, Teacher Jiang decided to do his best and use all his resources to help this student gain success and status. His student's success would also be his own success. Chapter 1878, World Savior Little Do. Chapter 1878, World Savior Little Do, Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Sacred Eagle City. In terms of size, Sacred Eagle City was much larger than Mountain Cliff City. Mountain Cliff City was only a sub-city, but Sacred Eagle City was one of the main cities in the previous life. When Fang Yuan attacked Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, he turned into the Bull Demon and first landed in this city. In this life, Sacred Eagle City was currently in a terrible situation. The entire city turned into a swamp kingdom. Yellow soil crocodiles moved around in the swamp, hunting the people in the city. Eagle Warrior defended this place. He was strong, but he was currently heavily injured. An immemorial desolate eagle had injured him. It was still flying in the sky. If any warrior appeared, it would dive down and attack. How could this happen? Eagle Warrior was bathed in blood. He lay in the mud as he watched his people get slaughtered. He was furious and shocked. Nobody could imagine that such a large group of fierce beasts would attack Sacred Eagle City all of the sudden. It was still peaceful earlier. This city was serene and bustling, but in a moment, it turned into a bloody slaughterhouse. No, I cannot watch this happen. I need to stop everything. Eagle Warrior struggled to get up. He wanted to stand, but his injuries were too severe. He fell down once more. As he was about to fall to the ground, a young and muscular arm grabbed onto Eagle Warrior. Uncle Eagle, you cannot fight anymore. If you continue, you will die. A youthful voice said. Eagle Warrior turned to look at the youngster who supported him. He smiled bitterly. Little Do, thanks for saving my life. But I am the Sacred Eagle City Lord. I cannot watch as the beast calamity continues to cause destruction. I cannot let my people become the food of these beasts. Uncle Eagle, let me do it. Little Do had shining eyes as he spoke with determination. You? Eagle Warrior looked at the injury on Little Do's chest. He shook his head. Little Do, you are not a member of Sacred Eagle City. You came here because I invited you to come and tour the city to repay the gratitude of saving my life. You already got injured to save me. You are not these beasts' match. Quickly leave. Go now. No, I am not leaving. I want to fight with you, Uncle. Let's defeat these evil beasts. Little Do shook his head. Eagle Warrior was moved. He patted Little Do's shoulder. He said with joy, Mountain Cliff City Lord had really taken in a good disciple. Why can't I find a disciple like you? Little Do, you are still too young. You have a brighter future than me. You cannot die here. I want you to promise me something. After you leave here, wait for the guild's reinforcements to arrive. Then come and retrieve my corpse. Remember, I want to be buried in the garden. Uncle. Little Do's eyes turned red. Tears could be seen in his eyes. He was choked with tears, and could not speak. Quickly leave. Eagle Warrior suddenly exerted his strength and pulled Little Do's hand away. He flew into the sky. He turned into a heavily injured silver eagle again as he charged towards the immemorial desolate eagle in the sky. The Gu immortals here are really different from the ones outside. They are willing to sacrifice their lives for mortals. Little Do sighed in his heart, feeling moved. But it is useless. This immemorial desolate eagle was nurtured by my main body purposely to deal with you. Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven was not profound literature Grotto Heaven. There was little restriction here. After Little Do received Eagle Warrior's invitation, he informed the main body and set up this trap. This was a great opportunity, because Beast Calamity's true inheritance was split into several portions kept in the main cities of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Fang Yuan's clone had no chance to get close to those true inheritances with a proper reason that he wanted to create a chance. But Eagle Warrior personally handed this opportunity over to him. If Eagle Warrior, who was bathed in blood, learned that the reason why Sacred Eagle City faced such a calamity was due to himself, who knew how he would feel. Eagle Warrior was not the immemorial desolate eagle's match. He quickly fell into a disadvantage. The immemorial desolate eagle attacked again, about to peck Eagle Warrior to death, when Little Do turned into the arrow-tail eagle once again and saved him at the moment of life and death. Little Do, why haven't you left? Eagle Warrior was shocked and extremely anxious. Uncle, how can I watch you die here? How can I let everyone get into such great danger? Even if I have to sacrifice my life, even if my blood bleeds dry, I will fight till the end. Little Do said with firm determination. Little Do. Eagle Warrior was speechless. He was extremely weak now. He turned back into human form as Little Do's claws grabbed onto him. Little Do fought against the immemorial desolate eagle, but he was not its match. But the immemorial desolate eagle was the main body's pawn to begin with. Little Do often got into dangerous situations where his life was at stake. He constantly got injured, but managed to retreat each time. Eagle Warrior watched with a palpitating heart. He fought without any fear himself, but when he watched Little Do fight, he became very concerned. He could not help but shout warnings due to his intense nervousness. When he saw that Little Do was bleeding and gaining more wounds, he felt deep heartache. Little Do had saved him earlier in the 12 Zodiac battle formation. He was a benefactor. Now, he had saved Eagle Warrior twice. He was even fighting to the death for Sacred Eagle City. This moved Eagle Warrior deeply. He acknowledged Little Do's nature and disposition. He felt deep admiration towards the young lad. Fang Yuan was ruthless to others, but was even more ruthless to himself as his clone. Little Do had the same style and personality. These were genuine wounds and injuries. Eagle Warrior was completely moved by him. Little Do had just become a Gu immortal. He was a new combat beast warrior, the youngest one in the combat beast guild. With this level of strength, he was definitely not the immemorial desolate eagle's match. After a while of fighting, he was smacked by the immemorial desolate eagle and fell into the City Lord Manor. This was naturally his plan. Little Do fell heavily and crashed through the floor, entering the underground altar. Eagle Warrior had already fainted earlier. When he woke up, he saw that Little Do was beside him. Uncle, you are awake. Little Do was overjoyed. Eagle Warrior was also overjoyed that Little Do was still alive, but he quickly frowned as he asked, "How long was I unconscious for?" "Not very long. The guild's reinforcements did not come. After the eagle attacked us, it remained flying in the sky instead of pursuing us." Little Do answered. Sigh. Eagle Warrior sighed deeply. "It seems that we cannot defeat this eagle in a frontal battle." Little Do analyzed. "Thankfully, this eagle is not smart. If we do not transform, it will not feel any threat, so it will not attack us. We cannot transform into our immortal beast form now. We need to use other transformations to save the city's people." Eagle Warrior was very worried. If he could not become an immortal beast, he would not be able to control the situation. He could only fight against those yellow soil crocodiles and save all of the citizens one by one. The efficiency was too low. There was no choice. They had to do that. But when they were about to leave, they found that a large number of yellow soil crocodiles had formed into a group. They had sealed all the entrances. There were 2 desolate beast yellow soil crocodiles too. Eagle Warrior and Little Do could not turn into immortal beasts, They could not fight the two desolate beasts. They had to retreat. Eagle Warrior sat on the ground. He had an ashen expression. It seems that we can only wait for reinforcements. I hope they can arrive soon. They won't. Little Do thought to himself. According to my plans, the reinforcements will be obstructed. I still have some time to execute my plans. But on the outside, Little Do frowned as he slammed his fist on the ground. Damn it. Are we just going to wait here until reinforcements come? Where are we? Why is there an altar here? Eagle Warrior answered. We are below the city Lord Manor now. As for this altar, before he finished, Little Do interjected. Little Do's brows were raised. To think that there is so much space underneath the city Lord Manor. I've got it. We can move underground and get past the yellow soil crocodiles to escape. Eagle Warrior shook his head. It is useless. This underground area only covers the city Lord Manor. We cannot go to the outer city. Those yellow soil crocodiles are also skilled at digging underground. They often live in swamps after all. Damn it. Little Do gritted his teeth. Suddenly, he gasped. Wait, no. Uncle, isn't it strange? Why are those yellow soil crocodiles just surrounding this place, but not attacking us? The eagle in the sky might be prideful and not feel like attacking us, but why are those yellow soil crocodiles waiting outside? They seem to be avoiding something. Eagle Warrior forced a smile. Little Do, your observation is right. But don't be too hopeful. These yellow soil crocodiles can't get near because of this altar. It is extremely old. Legends say that the first-generation combat Beast King arranged it here. A portion of his power is sealed inside. First-generation combat Beast King? Why did he seal his own power? Little Do asked curiously. It seems that he wants to give it to an inheritor. There are several more altars in the other main cities. Whoever can collect all of these powers will obtain the strength of the first-generation combat Beast King. Eagle Warrior said slowly. Little Do blinked multiple times. Then, why don't we use this power to defeat the beasts outside? Eagle Warrior smiled bitterly. It is useless. These are all rumors. There are no actual records about it. Countless people tried, but nobody has succeeded. These are likely false rumors. But these altars are very powerful indeed. They have a mysterious power and cannot be destroyed. Beasts also cannot get near them. Saying so, Eagle Warrior saw that Little Do was excited and laughed. If you want to try it, go ahead. But remember my words, don't be too hopeful. Don't get disappointed if nothing happens. Okay, Uncle. Little Do took large strides and quickly got to the altar. That he walked several rounds around the altar, but nothing happened. He climbed up, but there was still no reaction. This was a normal situation. Eagle Warrior watched at the side. But at this moment, Little Do knelt down and started to pray loudly. First-generation combat Beast King. I don't know you and have never met you before. But I hope you can help us. Beasts are outside eating the people. Every breath of time, a life is lost. I beg you, first-generation combat Beast King, if you can hear me in heaven, please do something, do something. Little Do spoke louder and louder as he teared up towards the end. Little Do, you are truly a kind-hearted and innocent boy. Eagle Warrior's eyes turned red too. He felt deeply moved. Then, at the next moment, white light burst out of the altar, enveloping Little Do's body. Eagle Warrior stared with wide eyes. He opened his mouth and became lost for words. What is going on? Bam! A soft sound could be heard as the white light fused into Little Do's body. The firm and indestructible altar shattered into pieces at the next moment. Little Do. Eagle Warrior stammered. Little Do turned around with an expression of joy. Uncle, you were right. I inherited the power of the first-generation combat Beast King. A miracle. This is a miracle. Eagle Warrior reacted as he raised his head towards the sky, becoming extremely happy. That he laughed for a while before turning to look at Little Do. His gaze was filled with seriousness and excitement. Little Do, you actually inherited the power of the first-generation combat Beast King. Do you know what that means? What? Little Do was dumbfounded. This means that you can inherit the rest of the inheritances. You are the future combat Beast King. No, more accurately, you are the world's savior. Eagle Warrior became incredibly excited. That's right, you are the world's savior. World's savior Little Do. Chapter 1879, Situation. Chapter 1879 Situation Eastern Sea, Dragon Palace. Fang Yuan's clone, Wu Shuai, sat on his dragon throne as he manipulated his army ants. During this period of time, the ant army had already developed to a certain size at this moment. There were over 100 million ants. They moved like a golden river and circled in the sky. Wu Shuai took out a rank 8 immortal material that was a bunch of bird feathers. These feathers had a stone texture but looked very lifelike. They were covered in a gray, white light that if one sniffed them, they would be able to smell the stench of a corpse. This was the immemorial desolate beast corpse emperor bird's feathers. Wu Shuai blew lightly as the feathers flew into the sky, fusing into the golden river of army ants. Soon, he started to hear noises. Countless army ants landed on the corpse emperor bird feathers and devoured them. Even though there were only 10 feathers, they were rank 8 immortal materials after all. Just a tiny bit was enough to feed an army of 10,000 ants. It could last very long. A moment later, the corpse emperor bird feathers got completely consumed by the army ants. These army ants were not just fed, they even created a new batch of army ants. The new ants were corpse ants. They emitted death energy. They could eat the corpses of army ants to get stronger. The more corpses they ate, the stronger the corpse ants became. There was a limit to this growth, of course. The strongest corpse ant could match a king ant, but could not match a queen ant. With these corpse ants, the army ants will be more usable and durable in battle. Before this, the ants would die in vain, but with corpse ants, I can make use of their corpses. In this regard, I can save quite a bit of cost too. Wu Shuai let out a breath of air. The army ants were extremely profound. They contained the essence of enslavement path. Feeding the army ants not only maintained their numbers, new breeds could even be created. When countless different army ants worked together, they would produce many unique effects. But the army ants could only alleviate the weakness of enslavement path. They could not eliminate it. Enslavement path truly used up too many resources. After growing the army ants to this scale that could fight rank 8 Gu immortals, Wu Shuai was starting to feel a heavy burden. My main body is refining Gu. The expenditure is huge. The army ants I am raising are also a bottomless hole. Thankfully, I have the help of Gu tribe and the mare folk. Otherwise, my army ants would not develop to this size. Right at this moment, Wu Shuai's expression changed. A Gu immortal had appeared outside Dragon Palace. Visiting Wu Shuai, Wu Shuai opened the palace doors and went to invite the person in. Tang Qiong greets Lord Wu Shuai. It was a yellow-scaled mermaid. She was adorable and gentle. She smiled as dimples were seen on her face. She was an elder in charge of the Merman imperial court. She represented a portion of their will. Fang Yuan's clone Wu Shuai helped to convert a portion of Gu tribe and the mermen into new dragon men. The relationship between the three groups had deepened a lot. Tang Qiong was the representative of the Merman imperial court. She interacted with Wu Shuai deeply and always kept a polite attitude. She treated Wu Shuai as an actual senior. Wu Shuai brought Tang Qiong into Dragon Palace. Even though this is not my first visit, I am still in awe regarding Dragon Palace's grand appearance. Tang Qiong sighed to herself. She had a sincere expression. Wu Shuai laughed. Fairy Tang Qiong, what brings you here? Tang Qiong showed a serious expression. Senior, Qi Si ancestor is holding a banquet in Eastern Sea. He has invited the entirety of Eastern Sea Gu immortal world to attend it. My imperial court received the invitation as well. Our grand elder wants to ask Senior if you are going to the banquet along with us. Oh, that matter. Wu Shuai heard this, and his eyes shined with bright light. After Fang Yuan's main body snatch mutation immortal Gu, he used the identity of Qi Si ancestor to interfere in Eastern Sea's politics. This Eastern Sea banquet was one of Fang Yuan's plans, but in his plan, he did not invite Wu Shuai. That wasn't it easy to invite his own clone. But Fang Yuan wanted to conceal Wu Shuai for now. He did not want to expose him yet. The Merman imperial court actually invited Wu Shuai to go with them. This action had deep meaning. It showed that the merfolk really wanted to get closer with the dragon men. I have rank 8 immortal Gu House Dragon Palace, while the Merman imperial court has no rank 8 immortal Gu House. Their force was established with the help of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable back then. After so many years, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's influence has dwindled. His protection will eventually vanish. As a variant human, the Dragon Man race is a natural ally indeed. Even so, the merfolk are taking a huge risk. This current generation Grand Elder has a lot of resolution. Wu Shuai thought about it. He asked an obvious question. Then, did Qi Si ancestor invite Fang Yuan as well? Within the palace, Tang Xiong shook her head. Qi Si ancestor has announced that he will not invite Fang Yuan. He said that this banquet is an Eastern Sea banquet. Fang Yuan is not an Eastern Sea Gu immortal. He will not be invited. Wu Shuai nodded. That had to be the case that if Qi Si ancestor invited Fang Yuan, it would be an act against Heavenly Court. He was not afraid of them, but Fang Yuan had to consider the feelings of the other Eastern Sea Gu immortals. He was not afraid of Heavenly Court, but Eastern Sea Gu immortals were afraid and wary of Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court's reputation was deeply ingrained in everyone. It was after all the #1 force in the world. It had a history of 3 million years. If he invited Fang Yuan, the Eastern Sea Gu immortals might have second thoughts and decide not to attend the banquet. That would go against Fang Yuan's intentions. Qi Si ancestor had also just taken half a primordial origin true inheritance from Duke Long. If he immediately approached Fang Yuan after that, it would be disadvantageous towards the big picture. Tang Xiong observed his expression but had no findings. Wu Shuai was ambitious and unfathomable. It was normal that he showed no signs on his face. Tang Xiong had to encourage him. Senior Wu Shuai, pardon my disrespectful words, but in my tribe's opinion, although you have an agreement with Fang Yuan and are working together, you are you and Fang Yuan is Fang Yuan. We cannot treat the two as the same entity. Even though Fang Yuan is strong, he is a human with a special identity. He is ruthless and hard to read. Dragon men will reign supreme. But to truly rise up, you need to rely on yourselves, becoming a force of your own and dominating your own area. Haha, you are right. Wu Shuai laughed. I will remember your tribe's sincerity. But now is not the time for the Dragon Man race to reappear in this world. Qi Si ancestor invited a huge range of Eastern Seas Gu immortals. Even though he has some agreement with Heavenly Court and is in a neutral position, Heavenly Court will not want such an influential person to exist in Eastern Seas Gu immortal world. If I join the banquet, Heavenly Court will be even more wary. They might even take action. By then, we cannot confirm what stance Qi Si ancestor will take. Furthermore, I am not an Eastern Sea Gu immortal in identity. Tang Xiong pondered about it. According to my tribe's deductions, Qi Si ancestor is strong, but as a lone cultivator, he likely wants to stay neutral. He has made agreements with both Heavenly Court and Fang Yuan. Senior, if you go, he will have a good opportunity to express his stance. He will definitely welcome you, even though his attitude might not be too enthusiastic nor cold. Give me some time to consider it. Wu Shuai pondered and said, All right, Senior, if you want to go, please contact me. I will take my leave. Watching Tang Xiong leave Dragon Palace, Wu Shuai fell into deep thought. From this matter, he could see the attitude of the merfolk. It was very advantageous to him. He could make use of ITTO speak the truth. He did not want to burden the main body excessively. He would rather settle most things himself through his own effort. The merfolk were a part of Eastern Sea. Their attitude was also the Eastern Sea Gu immortal world's attitude towards Qi Si ancestor, and this huge banquet .It was a good attitude .It was very beneficial to Fang Yuan's plans. With just Qi Si ancestor's identity, wanting to set up a banquet and uniting the whole of Eastern Seas Gu immortal world was wishful thinking. That was basically impossible. Longevity Heaven had dominated northern plains for so many years, but they had not united their Gu immortal world either. Fang Yuan did not dream of this. What he wanted was to influence Eastern Seas Gu immortal world. He wanted to make sure that when dealing with Heavenly Court in the future, Qi Si ancestors' decisions and actions would greatly affect the choices made by Eastern Seas Gu immortals. Before Qi Si ancestors' banquet began, Western Desert's Fang Dichang, who was also Fang Yuan's clone, had also started doing something like this. Everyone, goodbye. Friend Xiao, please take care. Fang Dichang sent off the final Western Desert Gu immortal. A Western Desert Righteous Path meeting had just ended. Fang Dichang cooperated with the main body, leading the allied forces of 5 clans in Western Desert's Righteous Path, defeating Heavenly Court. Fang Dichang used this outstanding result to its limit. He invited all of the Western Desert super forces to come for a meeting. These guys, humph. Fang Gong walked out, and looked at Shao Clan's Gu immortal leave as he showed an unhappy expression. This gathering did not have a good result. Many forces were cold towards Fang Clan. Some even suspected Fang Clan's victory over Heavenly Court. They were simply provoking Fang Clan. Fang Dichong smiled bitterly. First Supreme Elder, don't be too angry. The truth is, Heavenly Court managed to retreat safely. They lost one rank 8 because of Thousand Transformations ancestor as well. The defeat of Heavenly Court was merely our publicization to raise our reputation. Our Fang clan rose to power too abruptly. We have not won yet. These clans are too envious of our good luck in obtaining Divine Bean Palace. Right now, we rode on this wave and held a meeting. In their eyes, they think that our Fang clan just wants to be the leader hastily. Thus, they did not send any elders with authority. They only sent some insignificant members. Other than the 4 clans who allied with them showing a sincere attitude, most of the other super clans did not give Fang clan face. But this was something that could not be helped. Firstly, Fang clan did not obtain an actual victory. Their battle strength was not threatening enough. Secondly, they did not have true authority. These clans were not interested in entertaining them. Heavenly Court must be sowing discord as well. There is no helping it. Our influence can only grow slowly. Fang Dichong said, "Humph, during the 5 Regions War, when Central Continent attacks, I want to see what these people will do." Fang Gong snorted coldly. Fang Dichong squinted, but he sighed in his mind. How could these super forces not understand the big picture? They knew about it clearly, but so what? These forces restrained and restricted each other. They had countless years of grudges and conflict. Their individual interests and benefits were at stake. Without any life and death crisis, their usual mindsets would not allow them to work together. Chapter 1880. Heavenly Court's Discussion. 1880 Heavenly Court. Discussion. Heavenly Court, in the silvery white sky. Countless immortal palaces were erected. Within the discussion hall, more than 10 Gu immortals had gathered. Duke Long sat at the highest seat, followed by Fairy Ziwei and Qin Dingling. After them were Bai Tsang Shui, Song Yan, Che Wei, Yuan Xiongdu, Zhou Xiong Xian, and the rest. Other than that, there were the wills of Gu Lu Ru, Wan Zihong, Prince Feng Xian, Xing Yuang, Jun Xinguang, and others. These people had missions to do. They were unable to participate in this Heavenly Court meeting personally. Once in a while, Heavenly Court's members would gather and hold a meeting to discuss matters and bring up their own opinions to come to some consensus. During normal times, Heavenly Court would usually be led by Wisdom Path Gu immortals in terms of management. Currently, Duke Long was the psychological pillar holding up the organization, while Fairy Ziwei had control over the administrative affairs. Before her was Heaven overseeing Tower Lord. Yuan Xiongdu, how is the research on Second Aperture Gu going? Duke Long asked. Yuan Xiongdu answered. With Lady Ziwei's help, I have already deduced some secrets. We can refine rank 1 to 5 Second Aperture Gu now. The truth was that Heavenly Court's Refinement Path Foundation was deeper than Langya sect. There were 3 Refinement Path Supreme Grandmasters in history. Longhair Ancestor was just one of them. The other 2 had practically their entire inheritances collected by Heavenly Court. Yuan Xiongdu was the current person in charge of Refinement Path. He had incredible talent and aptitude. He was the one responsible for repairing Fate Gu in the previous life, along with Fairy Ziwei's deductions. The combination of these 3 things made it not so hard for them to deduce the recipe of Fang Yuan's Second Aperture Mortal Gu. After hearing this, many of the immortals had joyful expressions as they started to converse. I've heard of this Second Aperture Gu. It is a good thing. That's right. Having a second aperture will give Gu masters a huge boost in battle strength. If we can obtain the Immortal Gu recipe, it will also be extremely meaningful to Gu immortals. From this point, we need to thank Fang Yuan, Fairy Ziwei spoke in a calm tone as she interrupted. Is Fang Yuan such a foolish person? He had already expected Second Aperture Gu to be deduced when he threw it out to Southern Border's righteous path. A second aperture has deep meaning indeed, but if Gu masters had a second aperture, they would need double the time and effort to cultivate. They would need more resources as well. So that's it. The Gu immortals here were all rank 8 elites. Fairy Ziwei had just said this when they understood the reasoning. Fang Yuan is intentionally doing this. He gave out Second Aperture Gu to extort Southern Border's righteous path. but also to make plans for the 5 regions' chaotic war. That's right. When the regional walls vanish and the 5 regions fuse, Gu Immortals and Gu Masters will not change in numbers, but this second aperture Gu will spread rapidly. By then, their need for resources will double. What will everyone do? They will need to fight and start conflicts to gather resources. This demon is truly vicious and devious, but we have no choice but to take his bait. They had to. Heavenly Court had obtained second aperture Gu from Southern Border's righteous path. Southern Border would research second aperture Gu themselves. The other 3 regions would not ignore it either. Second aperture Gu was something that would cause a storm in the world if it was circulated, like the time Blood Sea Ancestor created Blood Path. Even if the 5 regions' righteous path outlawed blood path cultivation, there were still many blood path Gu Masters and Gu Immortals. We can't deduce the recipe of second aperture Immortal Gu yet. Duke Long, who had been silent, asked suddenly that he spoke very little, but he often got to the point quickly. This was no exception. Yuan Xiongdu smiled bitterly and shook his head. We are still some distance from deducing the Immortal Gu recipe. If I can have the help of a few refinement path experts of my level, I might be able to deduce it more quickly. But currently, I have limited energy and time. I cannot attend to too many matters at once. Yuan Xiongdu was having a tough time recently. Earlier, when Fang Yuan annexed Langya sect, he had to modify the formation to repair fake Gu. That was because the formation referenced refinement cauldron. It had to be changed for safety purposes. Afterwards, Fang Yuan captured Southern Border's righteous path. Yuan Xiongdu was in charge of refining fixed space Gu before the rest. After that, Fang Yuan defeated Heavenly Court in the River of Time. Heavenly Court's time path, Immortal Gu houses shattered. Yuan Xiongdu had to refine Gu once again, to try to refine these time path Immortal Gu. Recently, Qin Dingling woke up. She handed Fairy Ziwei a stack of luck path Immortal Gu recipes. Yuan Xiongdu was in charge of refining them. Refining Gu was a dangerous task to begin with. Fang Yuan had refined many of these Gu before him. Yuan Xiongdu was faced with many failures during this period. These last days, he had suffered great injuries from refining Gu. If Heavenly Court did not have superb healing methods, he might have died already. Next, Yuan Xiongdu has to prepare for the restoration of fate. Before we fully repair fate Gu, second aperture Immortal Gu's recipe will not be obtainable. Fairy Ziwei declared. It was a slight pity. Duke Long nodded but did not speak anymore. Qin Dingling sighed. Without the recipe of second aperture Immortal Gu, Southern Border's righteous path will not be able to escape from Fang Yuan's threat and extortion. Humph. These Southern Border Immortals are truly the shame of the righteous path. They were extorted to this extent. Within the hall, Xing Yuan grunted in displeasure. The truth is, Southern Border's righteous path has done quite a few things. They started to build beacon towers. This is an Immortal Gu house that is worth guarding against. Southern Border's righteous path is trying to break free from Fang Yuan. Only Ba clan and Xia clan desire second aperture Immortal Gu. They are controlled by him. Meanwhile, Wu clan, Chai clan, and others are resisting him fully. They want to cooperate with our Heavenly Court. We have already started to suppress Fang Yuan's businesses in Treasure Yellow Heaven. I need to remind everyone that Southern Border's Gu Immortal World has a powerful lurking force that we need to be on guard against. That is the Virtue Paradise. This is the true inheritance that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had set up personally. They have many Gu Immortals, the strongest among them being Lu Weiyin. They also include Mushroom Man Gu Immortals. Even though Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not enter Heavenly Court, there was a friendly relationship between us. But what about the attitude of this Virtue Paradise? We need to probe further. I have already considered that. Fairy Ziwei spoke. After some time, I will personally head to Virtue Paradise and borrow Immortal Gu. Heavenly Court needed this Immortal Gu indeed. It was also their test towards Virtue Paradise. If Lu Weiyin showed a friendly attitude, Heavenly Court would try to rope them in as allies. After discussing Southern Borders matters, Heavenly Court's Immortals went on to talk about Western Desert. Because of Fang Yuan's schemes, Western Desert's situation changed a lot. After Fang Clan gained control of Divine Being Palace, they defeated Heavenly Court, causing their plan and maintaining internal conflicts within Western Desert to suffer a loss. Fang Clan does have the ability to rise to power. But this time, there was a crucial person who caused this situation: Feng clan's second supreme elder Feng Dichong. This person has huge ambitions. He is a formidable character. He is already allied with multiple Western Desert Righteous Path forces. If not for the fact that we succeeded in sowing discord among them, Feng clan's rise would have been unstoppable. Now that Chun-Yi is dead, we do not have any proper Genesis Lotus inheritor. How will we retrieve Divine Bean Palace? I suggest that we assassinate Feng Dichong. Too difficult. This person is very crafty and vigilant. After getting Divine Bean Palace, he has basically stationed himself inside permanently. Feng clan's first supreme elder is Feng Gong. What is his attitude towards Feng Dichong? Feng Gong and Feng Dichong have a close relationship. They do not have conflict between them. We cannot do anything to them for now. After Heavenly Court's immortals talked for a while, they decided to add reinforcements in Western Desert. Even though Heavenly Court lost Wei Feng, their main forces were still intact. There were not much losses. Back then, when Heavenly Court set up their forces there, it was because Fang Yuan had tried to escape using the natural tributary of the River of Time there. In order to stop him, they set up immortal formations at the tributary. After that, they noticed Thousand Transformations' ancestor's weakness and thus sent more people there to deal with him. Even though Heavenly Court's plan to deal with Thousand Transformations' ancestor and Fang Yuan failed, they were not going to give up despite the setback. After discussing, they decided in unison that they would send a number of Gu immortals and immortal Gu houses to the River of Time during the crucial moment, by using the tributary of the River of Time to reinforce them. Rapidly, their main target now was not Thousand Transformations' ancestor, it was Feng clan. Thousand Transformations' ancestor was a lone immortal, while Feng clan was a Righteous Path clan that was gradually gaining influence over Western Desert's Righteous Path. If they were allowed to develop, Western Desert's Righteous Path would be an increasing threat against Heavenly Court. After Feng clan took away Divine Bean Palace, it meant that Feng clan and Heavenly Court could not come to peaceful terms anymore. Thus, Heavenly Court started preparing to deal with Feng clan. It was a logical move. After Western Desert was Eastern Sea. Eastern Sea's politics are also changing. Chi-Si ancestor is holding a banquet and inviting Eastern Sea's Gu immortals. What is he planning to do? Not long ago, Chi-Si ancestor came to an agreement with Duke Long. He stopped helping Fang Yuan. This person seems to be a neutral party, but we cannot relax our guard against him. We have already infiltrated this Eastern Sea banquet. If Chi-Si ancestor makes any move, we will know quickly. Duke Long spoke again. Chi-Si ancestor has extraordinary strength. He is not beneath me. My personal opinion is to actively entice and sway this person to our side. This is so Heavenly Court faces less threat before we manage to repair Fate Gu. Duke Long's words made the Heavenly Court Gu immortals feel heavy emotions. Eastern Sea had Chi-Si ancestor who could rival Duke Long in battle strength. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals were somewhat unable to accept this fact. After settling the matter of Eastern Sea, they moved on to Northern Plains. Heavenly Court paid a lot of attention to any movement from Northern Plains longevity heaven. Among the four regions, Heavenly Court was most wary in regards to Northern Plains. Northern Plains politics had been influenced by Heavenly Court. The cooperation of old ancestor Shui Hu and Heavenly Court was a huge success for them. If longevity heaven wanted to unite Northern Plains Gu immortal world, old ancestor Shui Hu would be the biggest obstacle. After the matters of Northern Plains, Duke Long mentioned the River of Time. Now, we have 5 time path immortal Gu houses, yet we cannot find any trace of the Red Lotus Stone Islands. Can we do anything about it? However, Heavenly Court's immortals did not have any good ideas. These Stone Lotus Islands were made by Red Lotus Demon Venerable after all. Qin Dingling shook her head too. In the aspect of luck path, we already have the Tao Guardian Feng Jioga guarding it. He has powerful luck. If even he fails, then there is nothing we can do. Duke Long was silent. He felt a little disappointed. The repair of Fate Gu was Heavenly Court's greatest plan to in Duke Long's mind. Wu Yong, Longevity Heaven, Fang Yuan, and Dragon Palace were all below Red Lotus Demon Venerable's threat level. But there was no other way. Heavenly Court had already done its best. The River Suppression Lotus Ceiling Formation was their greatest achievement. It was a pity that they were still far from finding a red lotus stone island. The discussion hall went silent. But at this moment, Fairy Ziwei's eyes suddenly shined. Next, Duke Long and Qin Dingling also showed surprised expressions. Eventually, all of the remaining Heavenly Court Gu immortals became very excited. News came so suddenly. A red lotus stone island appeared in the River of Time. Gu Lu Ru has already confirmed it. This red lotus stone island is the real thing, without doubt. We have finally found one red lotus true inheritance. As long as we can get one, we will be able to find our way to the rest of red lotus true inheritances. Duke Long nodded. This is a good thing. We need to try to get this true inheritance as soon as possible now. Also beware of Fang Yuan. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals turned solemn. Indeed, this commotion cannot be kept from him for long. By then, he will definitely show up. Set up the river suppression lotus sealing formation quickly. We need more reinforcements. If Fang Yuan comes, we will take his life.